everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. So today we're going to be doing the final installment of this go around of the business series that we've been talking about here on my channel. So Nacho was trying to find a way in here. So anyway, in the first, and again, we've been doing this every other week, but the first video kind of started back in like November before Vlogmas, so I will link to all of them below if you missed any. But in the first video I talked a little bit about why I started knitting, and so this series in general is kind of a reflection. I'm about a year and a half, coming up on 2 years into having this business, and so I thought it was a great time to just reflect on kind of these early years and all of that. So again, the first one was kind of why I started this business, and I talked, he's trying to get on my lap here, but my laptop is here. Just to walk by, had to just walk by that way. Anyway, so in the first vlog, I talked about why I started, and I talked a lot about wanting to connect with the knitting community and putting myself out there more, but then also, you know, I always kind of had this dream in the back of my mind of having my own business, and so kind of putting the two together, being fortunate to put a hobby with a business together as one, was really a dream come true, and I'm really excited about it so far. So if you want to hear more detail around kind of why I started and where I was when I started it, check out that video. The second one that I talked about, which again was probably about a month ago at this point, so when I started kind of doing this more on plan, was how I started. So I just reflected a little bit on how I started out. So again, not meant to be a how-to, it was how I. So I reflected on starting out with, you know, not so much going on, or not having so much available to me. So like from capital point of view, making the most of what I had, so dyeing up on minis, photographing colorways on minis, and just all of that, and how that has worked and didn't work as well. So you can definitely go and check that out too. And then the third one we did 2 weeks ago was me just kind of reflecting on what I think I called it what I would have done differently, but just things that I felt like worked out well for me and things that didn't work out well for me, and then just kind of thinking a lot through, you know, kind of those opportunities that are good to say yes to when I was starting out in my business, and learning the things that were good for me in that respect. And so again, if you're interested in that vlog, I will link all 3 of those down below so you can get caught up. And so today I figured I would just kind of look more towards the future and say, here's where I am today, and what do I expect in the future, or what am I working towards in the future. And I figure that way when I come back to this series, you know, I don't know if it's going to be annual or if it'll be biannual, but when I come back to this series, that will be a good starting point for me to kind of think through like, wow, I really did those things, or yeah, those were terrible ideas. So that's kind of the plan for this video, and so it's not going to be too long. I'm not going to talk too many details about it. I do recommend checking out my 2021 goals video, because a lot of that had to do with my business, and so if you want more details on anything that I talk about here, I talked about it more in depth there. And then also I'll just add on a little bit at this point, just a little bit beyond 2021. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So what's kind of coming up next for me, again, you can check out my 2021 goals. Right now, so if you're watching this kind of delayed, it's January 31st. So 1 month into, I don't know why, like I'm filming this at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. Like it's 11 o'clock, like don't catch sleep all day. I come to record and they're like, oh, party, let's wake up, let's meow. So anyway, here is what Pythagoras is doing right now. I will point out that the window next to that one, the blinds are open, but this one is closed, so it's not kind of shining too much light on me here. There's not that much light outside because we're expecting this massive snowstorm today, but anyway. Okay, and we're back. So again, go check out the 2021 video for kind of 2021 goals. So I just said this, it's January 31st. So I'm 1 month into 2021, and I can tell you that creating that video, thinking through all of those things really motivated me. And so I hope that if you did think through 2021 goals, let me know if you've abandoned them already. I plan to do like a quarterly check-in on my goals. And so again, I'm not gonna go through all of them one by one here, but you will see that kind of what's coming up in the future are a lot of the things that I talked about in that video. And then kind of in the beginning of April, I'll probably reflect kind of on it. But anyway, and if you set goals and you were like, this is silly, I don't like having them, then more power to you, go for it. Do what you want. You do you, as they say. All right, so kind of as we speak, this past week, I put a call out for sample knitters. And so that's kind of, you know, in the future, what's kind of coming up. So I have a lot more samples that are gonna be coming my way. You guys blew me away with your response to my call out for sample knitters. The form is gonna be available anytime, so if you haven't already, go check it out. I will link to that directly below. And really what's gonna happen is I know people will be available and unavailable, or the projects I wanna do don't coincide with what they wanna do, or they're just not feeling it. And so you can kind of hop in and hop out as you want. If you sign up now, it doesn't mean that you're obligated to do something. So if there were teachers and students who replied to it and they said, you know what, I'm really busy right now, but in the summer, like that's when I get all my crafting done. So if that's you, feel free to sign up now, and you can say no now and I won't hold it against you. The idea that I'm going to be doing is, originally I didn't expect such a massive response, and so I plan to kind of communicate with people one-on-one. Like I have my list of projects available, or my list of projects that I would like done, and I assume that I would kind of like pick and choose off that list depending on what the person put for preferences of like socks or shawls or color work or no color work, that kind of thing. But because there were so many responses and I don't want to kind of do it one by one, because I want to give people who want to do it the opportunity to do it. I think it's going to be like more newsletter style, so I'll kind of just send out projects I have available, and kind of based on who responds, people respond. So tying that together, if you're unavailable now, you can ignore the newsletters for now, and then when you become more free, you can kind of pay more attention. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if you haven't heard from me yet, it's coming soon. Again, I'm trying to just like be organized from the beginning on this, and so again, it's taking me a little bit more time to put all the info together just because of how many people responded, which I am just like so grateful for. You guys rock, like seriously. All right, so that's kind of a big 2021 goal that I'm making progress on. And so that's just great. I just already feel like this huge weight off my shoulder, which is kind of one of the things that talking about the future is something that is a big part of it. Like I just want to continue to build in more efficiencies so that way I can continue to grow without continuing to pile more and more on. Like that's kind of my main thing, is like, how can I do more with the same amount of time that I have available? Because we all have the same amount of time, but I want to be able to do more. So having sample knitters, again, it's already a huge weight off my shoulders. I have exciting projects that I want to cast on for myself that aren't necessarily shop samples, and so because of all of you guys, I get to do that. So that is great. And I'm gonna talk about whips in a second, so listen in for that. So again, the sample knitters will help because one, it's less work that I have to do, and it'll just help people be able to see what yarn looks like knitted up, as well as when it's in person, it gives people ideas of what they want to do. That being said, if you're also a designer, feel free to reach out to me, and some of you have already, which is also amazing. And what I would say is I'm happy to work with people on future designs. So if you are looking for yarn support, that kind of things, like I'm definitely open to those opportunities. But also just kind of getting these samples up and getting kits available. I'm also working with designers on current patterns that they already have out. And my reason for wanting to work with the designers versus just kind of curating the kits and saying, here's a kit for, like what I did with the time trade shawl, like I did not work with Caitlin Hunter. I knitted up for myself, and so then I made kits available. But I'm hoping that by working with the designers, there's kind of like, first of all, like cross promotion, right? Like we'll both support each other in the promotion aspect of it. But then also, I'm hoping to include patterns with the kits. So it's kind of an all-inclusive type of thing. So if you are a designer and you have current patterns available that you want to work with me to create kits on, like please reach out, and I will definitely get that on the list. So all that being said, what is kind of coming up in the future? So I'm hoping to like increase my presence. So working with designers, collaborating, that's all ways that I can help increase my presence. And so that's kind of like what my future is. So far I've kind of talked about two general things, kind of growth but efficiency. So really focusing on how can I make what I'm doing currently more efficient, so that way I can do more. And then the second thing is kind of these collaborations and growing my presence. So those are really two things, and they go hand in hand. As I grow my presence in the fiber community, there's going to be more demand, which means that I'm going to be growing and again needing more efficiency. So those are kind of the two general things for the future. So again, just summarizing what we've talked about so far, the main general idea is that I'm hoping to grow, and in order to grow I have to be more efficient, and if I want to grow, I have to do something about it. And so by doing these collaborations, increasing my presence and just getting my name out there more, I'm hoping to be able to do those things. So those are kind of the general overall themes for the future. I think those will always be themes for the future. Maybe at some point I'll kind of reach the point where I'm like, I'm good. But I think it'll always be kind of those things, like let's grow and let's stay efficient. So yeah, and I will also reflect on kind of some of that efficiency, my 2021 goals reflection that I'll do the first round of in April, just to kind of not prolong this topic more here. But I do have other things to say about that. So if you are interested, make sure you stick around for that in April. Stick around until April. So to kind of just like brush on a few kind of miscellaneous random things that I really think about and, you know, constantly I'm thinking about and trying to change about my shop, or not change, but do with my shop. I often think about ready to ship versus dye to order. So I started out dye to order, kind of then became a mixture where if someone ordered a popular colorway, I would just dye up a whole batch. That way I had some in stock. And so I'd be a mixture of like dye to order and in stock. Kind of in the later the later part of 2020, I moved into ready to ship only. Meaning that if you ordered something from my shop, it was ready to go, and my hope was to get it out in a couple of days. And after kind of like the Advent season was over and the Radvent kits were kind of through, that, you know, being ready to ship got me through those times, I switched back to completely dye to order. So I am a dye to order shop. With the way that I run my shop with any size skeins, it's hard to be ready to ship. And even if I had, like, let's say I dyed up like a 200 gram skein of Valentine's Day, and so I put in my shop that, what quantity do I have available, right? I have one 200 gram skein available, but I have 4 50 gram skeins available, or 2 100 gram skeins available. And so that part was always really tricky. It meant that every time someone placed an order, I needed to go in and change what was available, because like, let's say I said it was one available, and I had a 200 gram skein in stock and someone ordered 100 grams, then I have to go in, but then I also have to like remove the options of ordering up to 200 grams, right? Now I only have 100 grams left. So that was a lot of manual work. Talking about efficiency, that wasn't very efficient. And so I kind of have shifted away from that once again and gone back to dye to order, but really trying to keep my processing times low so people don't, if they know it's dye to order, that's great. But if they don't, then it's not necessarily waiting so long. So right now, I advertise as like 3 to 5 day processing time, but I have been getting all orders out within 4 business days so far this year. So that's really great. And again, I'll reflect on that in another time. But the whole ready to ship versus dye to order conversation happens in my head quite a bit. And I'm always looking for ways to kind of be more ready to ship, because when people, and I think a lot of this has to do with like the Amazon impact of 2-day shipping, but when people place orders, I think they expect them to kind of go out fairly quickly. And I have to say that I think because so much of us have stash, we're not necessarily like ordering yarn because we like need it, you know. I think we all get excited. Like I know when I order yarn, I like am so excited to get it, even though I technically won't need it right away. And I very rarely have anyone reach out and ask like, when is an order going to ship? And I don't worry about it, because you know, sometimes I think people like are just planning type of thing, not complaining. But anyway, being ready to ship means that orders go out quicker. And so it's just an easier thing. So that's kind of like something that over time I'm always going to be thinking about, like, how can I be ready to ship? Do I need to be dyed to order? Can I be a mixture? How should I do it? So that's kind of like a what's in the future type of thing, because it's something I've tried both, and that's kind of a thing that I'm always thinking about how to do it. Other things that I want to do is a lot of more special events, so something like Advent but at other times in the year. I think it's really fun to do these things. So even doing like the clubs, I think people get excited for, or I know you guys all get excited for that kind of thing. And so just kind of looking at the calendar and planning these events out, just to do like really fun, different, not necessarily like here's a new colorway and it's the same, not that it's the same as the other colorways I have in my shop, but it's really the same idea, right? It's just a different color of yarn. And so I'm just trying to think of kind of how can I do special events and that kind of thing. So a lot of that will be in the works for this year. I say a lot, but you know, I'm going to be planning out a lot, and then we'll see what actually happens. So that's something that is in the future. And again, just bringing up clubs, I have no plans to stop the clubs that I'm doing. They are definitely very popular, so if you haven't checked them out, please do. Okay, so this is going up on Groundhog's Day, so happy Groundhog's Day. I hope you are only watching this video once and not stuck in a loop where you're watching it every day. And if it is, I hope you're still enjoying it. So weird. But anyway, so that means that February clubs either have arrived for you if you are in the mystery club, or it should be arriving any day now. So if you haven't signed up, if you do sign up at this point, you'll renew on February 20th, which will be the March clubs. So those are always popular. I also have my Dye With Me club, which is getting more and more popular. You guys are great, which just means that you receive skeins that I do in my popular Dye With Me videos. And I'm going to be starting limited series clubs, so stay tuned for that. I think a lot more details for that will come up in March, so we still have some time, but going to be doing that. And then just in the future too, again, I kind of talked about this with the special events, but I'm hoping to just offer up more products, so yarn related or non-yarn related, but you know, always kind of crafty related. So in the future, we'll see if that happens. I have some ideas up my sleeve, but again, gotta kind of focus on what I can right now. But stay tuned for that because I think I have some fun ideas, and I'll be interested to see what you guys all think. And then the last kind of future thing is, again, along the lines with growing my presence, kind of growing this YouTube channel. I do want to do more live streams. I talked about that in my 2021 goals video. And so if you are interested in joining a live stream, I am planning to do one on Saturday. So Saturday the 6th, February 6th. It's gonna probably be in the morning, like probably, I don't know. I keep going back and forth if it'll be in the morning or the afternoon. I think the afternoon will be better for people just based on some of the feedback I received when I asked on Instagram, but definitely comment below on what time you would prefer. I can't make everyone happy. I'm on the East Coast, so it would be Eastern time, but I'm a morning person, so I'm more awake and energetic in the morning, but I know that being on the East Coast means that kind of doesn't help people west of me. However, maybe it helps people internationally. So I'm thinking either like 10 or 11 or like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, Eastern time. So definitely stay tuned for info on that. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm a girl in her wool there. And I'll definitely be announcing it there. If you're subscribed to this channel, you probably will get a notification about it. And I'd love to have you. We're not going to be doing a dye with me. It's going to be a crafty chat. So it's going to be like a live cast on party slash kind of talking about my projects. And I would love to know what you're working on. So if you come join a live, you can kind of comment and we can talk to each other that way, which I think will be really fun. And again, just another way of getting to know all of you guys better, and you guys get to know me better. So if you have questions, it's a great time to ask them. So that is really it for the future. Again, I have goals that are metric based. I have plans and things like that, but not really ready to put them all out on the internet right now. So really, again, growth, gaining presence, new products, efficiency, that's kind of the main idea here. And I can't wait to reflect on this both at the end of 2021 as well as in the future, and love to know what you all think. So I hope you guys love this series. I think it went over pretty well. I've gotten some personal messages from some of you, which are just always amazing, about how you now have the courage to start your own Etsy shops, or you love seeing this side of the business. So I'm so happy that this went over well and you guys loved it. I know that kind of standard crafty channels don't always talk about these things, and I like talking about it, so I'm glad it's been received well. And if you ever have questions, feel free to let me know. I can always do Q&A videos. Of course, join the live stream on Saturday to get some questions answered, and I could even do this sooner if it's in demand. So thanks so much for joining this series and subscribing here on the channel. If you haven't already, please do. I'm coming up on a big milestone of 1,000 subscribers, so I would love to have you guys here as part of the A Girl in Her Wool community on YouTube. If you haven't already, check out my shop at agirlandherwool.com. You can always use code agirlandherwool10 for 10% off your order. And check out Friday's video. I will be talking all about the new colorways that are in the shop, as well as on Friday morning at 10 a.m. they will actually be loaded. So you can check them out Friday morning and then stick around Friday evening at 5 p.m. for the shop update video to hear more about the colors and the backstories of them. And yeah, that's it. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.